Johnny Ruffo. I can't tell you when you walked in the door how much joy I had when I saw your face.
Stop it.
No, I'm so happy to have you here. Johnny, I have known you for a really long time. Wait, what year
8 years.
Is that how long?
Yeah.
So
but you didn't talk to me when I was on the show because I wasn't cool enough then.
Right, until you got into like the top 12.
Top 3.
Oh, top 3,
I had to wait till top 3 before you said hello.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that, definitely am. No, but you auditioned for X Factor when my husband was the judge.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
You were a concreter working in construction in Perth, and you had a dream that you wanted to be an entertainer.
Yeah, pretty much.
So was that was the reason you went for X Factor? You just thought, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, like I was concreting. I'd been concreting at that point for maybe 6 or 7 years, I think. And I'd always sort of dabbled in music. You know, I had a band. We did local circuit in Perth. Mm-hmm. They were the ones that sort of encouraged me. They said, you should try for X Factor. You know, you might do okay on it. You might get to the top 10,000 or something. I went there, but I was actually the very last person to sign in for the day. Like, you just made it by like 3 minutes or something, and then I just sat there for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah. So I remember when Guy auditioned for Australian Idol, he was like, nah. He was just comparing himself on how much better looking the other guys were. He wasn't thinking about
that problem.
His talent.
I'm kidding.
You're like, no, I'm the best looking person here.
Just everything, it feels like it's like, oh my God, I've got the world on my shoulders. Like you start looking at other people and everyone's sitting around like singing tunes and stuff. It's like, oh, everyone's really good here. I'm like, maybe I should just go.
Yeah. And
then I finally got through. Because there's like a whole stage of audition, the process, the very first song I sung, I think was Summer of 69. This is like, I got my first real 6
and that's off camera, like in a back room somewhere.
This is off camera to like producers and whatnot. So there's quite a process that you go through before you even make it to the television, auditions. Yeah, I think I'd sung that Summer of 69 for the first one, and they're like, they were like, we'll give you a shot. Come on, go through. Yeah. And then, I went through them. I was like, I got through. And then there's like another audition process in front of more producers. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it's like the wait. They're like, okay, thank you. And then you're like, I've got to wait like 3 or 4 weeks before they phone you up and give you the good or bad news. I remember where I was actually. I was doing a driveway and I'm sitting in the ute or the truck waiting for the concrete to dry. Yeah. And then I got the phone call and I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. And my dad was there as well.
Oh,
so that's when I got the phone call to say that you're through to the TV auditions. And that's where I auditioned in front of Guy, Ronan, Nat and Mel. Yeah.
Looking at your life thus far, I feel like there's been 2 very significant life-changing moments.
Meeting Guy.
Meeting Guy. That essentially launched your entertainment career.
Oh, absolutely.
You got signed to Sony. You have since been on Home and Away.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, and you won that.
I got the mirror ball at home still.
That's so... What an achievement. But really, what an achievement. That's such a hard thing to do. But all these things would never have happened if you didn't one day absolutely. Just go, I'm gonna do this.
Stuff it. I'm gonna go give it a shot.
Yeah. So it's so amazing. I love stuff like that. And then, of course, later on in life, last year, August the 7th.
7th of August.
Everything changed again for you. For anyone watching who hasn't heard this part of Johnny's story, please, if you will, share us this next life-changing chapter.
I won lotto.
Great.
No,
congrats.
So yeah, on the 7th, or sort of leading up to the 7th of August, I was sort of sporadically getting headaches, which I didn't really think much of. Yeah. Because it's not overly unusual to get a headache. I went to the doctor and I explained all of these symptoms. Like, I was always tired. I was not motivated. I felt, and it's completely unlike me. I'm the most motivated person ever. I'm the hardest working person. I love to work, and I just got to this point. I was like, I can't be asked getting up today. I don't want to do anything today. I don't want to work today. I'm over. I don't want to see anyone. I just got,
not you at all.
So I explained all these symptoms to my GP. They were like, oh, it sounds like depression. So they prescribed me some antidepressants, and I got home, and it was for about like 3 weeks, and I just didn't take them. I'm like, that's not me. I'm not depressed. I'm not, I'm not going to accept that. That can't be what it is. So, and then I started having these headaches sporadically, just every now and then I'd get headaches, and I always used to put it down to, maybe, like, on a Friday night or Saturday night, I'd go out with my mates, have a few drinks, and you just think, maybe it's a little bit of a hangover the next day, or, you might just think, maybe I need to get some more rest, not drinking enough water, just a number of things. You would put it down to that. On one day, it was on I think it was the 5th or the 6th, I had this headache, and it just gradually got worse and worse, and it was like for 2 days I had this headache. There's nothing I could do. I would sleep, and I'd wake up, and I'd wake up with the headache, spend all day with the headache, and go to sleep with this raging headache, and it just gradually got worse and worse and worse, until the point that it felt as though, like, it was burning. Like, if you put your hand under hot water and it burns, it's like that,
but doesn't
times 10 in your head. And it actually felt like heat in my head. I was like, it was just so painful.
Were you worried?
I mean, the last thing that I thought was, oh my God, this could be brain cancer. It just does not cross your mind.
Of course.
It got to the point where I was at home, Tani was asking me a question, and I couldn't even speak. I could not string a sentence together. She was asking me about boiling eggs or something. I could not get out, boil the water and put a little bit of oil in it. Like, I couldn't get it. I was like, oil, water. Like, I could not speak. And that's when she said, this is not right. Let's jump in the car. We're going to go to the ED, emergency department. And even initially, they thought it was just a severe migraine. So they said, we sat in the waiting room for like 6 hours or whatever it was, and she sat with me the whole time, and I was just out of it. Like, so they sort of finally found me a bed, and they said, just sit in the waiting room bed in here, just relax a bit. And at this point, they just said, look, they gave me a cannula, and they were gonna run some fluids through me. So they just rehydrated me, and then they gave me some medication as well. And they said, he should be fine after this. Just, flushing the system out. And then I was laying down, and out of nowhere, Tani said I was sort of laying down for an hour or two, and then out of nowhere I just sat up and vomited, and it was almost like black. At this point, they still thought it was a migraine. And Tani's like, it's not a migraine. Because she kept talking to me. She's like, are you feeling any better? And I'm like, worse, it's getting worse. Like, it's just getting worse. And I'm like just rolling around in the fetal position, just like this. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And then they came out and said to her, look, we're going to have to keep him overnight. So just go home and we'll call you in the morning to come pick him up. We'll just run some more fluids through him, give him some more medication. They gave me anti-nausea, like the strongest anti-nausea medication they had, and I was still vomiting. This sort of started to become alarming, and then I fell into a coma. They initially had thought I was just sleeping. They couldn't get me out of the coma. They couldn't wake me from it. So they ran me through an MRI and some CT scans and all of that. That's when they found the tumour. And the tumour was the size of my fist, it's 7 centimetres. And it was just in my right frontal lobe here. So it was just, like, really quite large. And the pressure that was causing on my brain was what was causing the vomiting and the headaches and the not being able to speech, the loss in speech. And they discovered this fairly early in the morning, like 6 or 7 a.m. And they called Tani straight away at home. And they said, you have to get in here right now. We've found a brain tumour in his head. You need to come in now. So then she had to drive back. She was in absolute tears at this point.
Because that is not what you're expecting to hear.
She was expecting, you can come pick him up. No worries. And because I have no family here, she had to sign the forms to say that they could operate, which there was a 20% chance I would die from. But had I not had the operation, I would have died. So she signed that, and then the operation took somewhere between 9 and 11 hours, and then I came out of it. And I came out of it like Tuesday, I think. This was on a Sunday from memory. And then I woke up on Tuesday morning at like 3 a.m. and no one was there except my nurse, Elliot. He's a champion. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I had no idea. And I would have been like, I've had so much medication. It was like sort of when you get your wisdom teeth taken out.
You would not have known that you had
No, I didn't know. No, not at all.
You went into a coma, so you knew nothing. And then you wake up.
Yeah, and Elliot's there. He's like, you're in hospital, mate.
I'm like, who are you?
What's going on here? And then he explained to me what had happened, but I think I was a bit out of it. I called Tani at like 3 a.m. and said, I'm in hospital. Like, she didn't know. I'm like, I'm in hospital. And then she's like, oh, do you want us to come see? I was like, oh, that'd be nice. And I was such an asshole.
Smart ass.
I was such a smart ass still. Right, still. Having just come out of major brain surgery. Yeah, once I started being a smart, I said like, oh, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, and at this point I didn't know that I had brain cancer. It was just a brain tumour.
Okay.
So I was still waiting upon the results of the tumour, the tests, whether it was, benign or malignant.
Yep.
And it was the latter.
Yeah. And they couldn't get the whole thing, is that right?
Yeah, so they could only remove 95% of the tumour. So where the remaining 5% was right on some nerves.
Yeah.
And if they had attempted to remove it, it may have caused paralysis down the entire left side of my body, so I never would have been able to walk again. The surgeon had to make that decision mid-operation. Right. So he was like, operating, and it got to the point where it was like, okay, we've got to make a decision here whether to try and remove that remaining part of the tumour, or do we remove what we can safely and then use radiation, radiotherapy and chemotherapy to kill off the remaining cancer cells, which is what he opted for, which I'm super grateful for, because if I'd woken up and not been able to walk, I don't know how I would have reacted. It would have been horrible.
I mean, that would be a lot to wake up to. And so you've done your treatment, or you're in? Yeah, I'm still in the midst of it.
I've done 9 cycles, 9 months of chemo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so where are we at with the pesky little thing in there?
So my oncologist, so my chemo professor, is quite happy with the current results so far. Yeah. So in 6 days I get another MRI to see how it's all going, and based on that I've got three more cycles of chemo. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be it. I'll be cured or in remission.
My goodness. Well, you know that we are all in your corner. I mean, Australia was just like, it was an outpouring when you posted that photo of
the scar. Have you seen? I had 27 staples. You can't even see it anymore, I don't think. A little bit.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about that.
I mean,
I want to be able to see it.
You want the scar there?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
That was a good scar. Do you feel like, in those defining moments of life, I feel like people either rise to the occasion, like you see the best and the worst in human
absolutely.
beings and people around you. Do you feel like that kind of happened? Probably X Factor too. You sort of, people either are like on board, happy for you, supporting you all the way, or they're like...
Yeah, see, Australia has that sort of vibe though, and it's like, I don't get it. Like if one of my friends or my cousins or my brother or my family or somebody has an idea and doing well, I'm so encouraging. Like, go for that. That's so good. Like if I can help in any way, I would love to.
I love that these occasions do bring out the very best in people as well.
Really, like I've had so many people show a lot of support. Like even Guy reached out straight away as soon as he heard. So many people reached out, and it was kind of nice to see who your friends are.
Yep.
Also a little disappointing in some people. So there's like elements of both, but it's good to sort of separate the men from the boys, so to speak.
Yeah, I've seen you, supporting other charities, and I feel like you're like, I'm just going to do what I can right now to fly the flag and to support people that are supporting this because I'm going through it. Is that kind of what...
Look, I'm very fortunate in the fact that I've got a lot of people around me. If I need help, I can quite easily get help. Whereas a lot of people aren't afforded that, possibility. I sort of want to try and reach out to people that perhaps can't get help when they need it or are struggling a bit. So if there's anything I can do to help them, I'm more than happy to. It's such a struggle without having to worry about other things,
Right.
Whatever it might be. Some people might not be able to afford their medication or, so if I can do something to help them, then, it's the least I can do.
When you're an old man and it's time to go.
Have a legacy. That guy.
What would you hope your legacy is?
I hope that I would have, by that stage, made a lot of people smile and happy and laugh and, I guess, helped people out. I would love to be able to encourage that pivotal moment in somebody else's life where I've sort of had a good chat with them or they've seen something that I've done and thought, you know what, I'm going to change and I'm going to do this or, and that sort of be that person that has helped somebody to succeed in what they want to do or created some sort of happiness within their life.
That's great. Mate.
I don't know.
You're Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah, that guy. Come walk on these coals.
No, I love that. I actually love that because it's a very achievable thing to do. It's like I think that's bottom line. I think everyone's legacy should aim to be that.
Yeah, but I think people should though. Like, it doesn't matter what you've got. It matters who you are as a person, you know.
Yeah. What's next for you, my friend?
Next for me, I mean, look, I'm still working in music. I'm actually recording tomorrow.
Great.
A new track that I've written, which is sort of loosely based around my recent experience.
Yeah.
What it's done to me and for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like I've learnt a lot from it. I've grown a lot.
That was my question. What's some of the lessons that you've learned? Like, do you feel, you've grown a lot, you've learnt things. What are these things that when you're facing something, a crisis like that, what do you learn? Like
petty things, I don't have time for.
Don't
like trivial things, man.
Yeah.
Like some people be like, oh, I've got to do this and I forgot to put $2 in my parking meter. And they'll get quite worked up about silly things like, oh, I got a parking ticket. It's like, man, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Pay for the thing and just move on.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
There's bigger things, you know, maybe not just parking tickets, just anything. Though,
Can be expensive,
you know what I mean?
They can be.
I know, they can add up. But just little things, like people not to sweat the little things. Mm-hmm. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. If something goes wrong, just deal with it. And just to enjoy, like, I think I appreciate things a lot more.
Yeah.
Just spending time with people. I've always been big on meeting people and just listening to people's stories and things like that. Like, what's your story? You know, what's your path? What do you want to do? And things like that. Yeah. I think I value interaction a lot more. Mm. The more time you spend with people, the more you learn about. There's just little things that you learn about them. You know, you learn something every day about someone.
It's true.
Yeah, I love that.
It's true. Same. Oh, Johnny, this has been so nice. Honestly, I think
iced tea.
Everything you aim to do and be, I think you already are. Truly, I know I've said it a million times. I'm so happy to see you. Really, I am.
Likewise, it's always a
pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
Happy and smiling and healthy. And
I'm always smiling. Even at the worst of times, I smile.
So good.